Bell Conference Center. I'm Kent Partridge, Director of Athletics. This is Charlie, my granddaughter and my real boss. She just came in and decided she wanted to welcome you guys too, but it's tough to do it there. She's the focus of my life. So I wanted to welcome everybody. And before we got started, I just need to say thanks to a couple of people. First, I got a housekeeping thing. If you, Christy reminded me, if you want orange juice, the glass is on the table, take it with you to the corners. So is that right, Christy? Okay, thank you. First of all, I got to thank, starting with Christy, my staff who pulled this thing together despite me. Christy Wade, Penny Dew, and Lisa Floyd, and Danielle, and got the sports info crew hiding in the corners, taking pictures and stuff. J.A. and Mark. And want to recognize that we have several members of our administration here today. Dr. Tucker, who's our president, many of you guys met last night. And Justin Smith, president of our board, is right here. Appreciate him. A lot of VPs here. Lawson Edmonds, where are you, Lawson? There you go. And Dr. Kim Edwards, right beside him. Dr. Chris Thomason, right beside, on the other side of Lawson. Josette, our police chief, are you here? Yes. Yeah, there you are. Thank you. Mickey Smith and Lolita, you guys here? Yeah. Good to see you guys. And Coach Gilman over there, hanging out with the reprobates. And so we're going to get started now. We've got kind of the way this thing will work. Coach Gilman will come and ask the blessing, and then he's got to go be a coach for a while, and then we'll show a little bit of a video. Well, we'll show the whole video, not a little bit. We'll show the video of the Hall of Fame class. The way this is going to work, we're inducting 2 regular classes because we got backed up because of COVID. And then we're inducting something that's been a long time coming. It should have been done many, many moons ago. And we're going to induct as a team, you 1971 guys. We're privileged to spend the evening with you guys last night. Coach King got some of the world's largest mosquitoes I have ever seen. Coach, you bring those with the fish? I didn't know mosquitoes could bite through jackets and shirts. But evidently they can if you live out there between the ponds. So we'll ask the blessing, we'll do the video, and then we'll get started with the program. And D. Outlaw will MC our program. D is the chair of our Hall of Fame committee. And so we'll get going from there. Coach, if you'll come up and ask our blessing, then we'll go eat and get rolling.
Thank you. Before I do, I just want to say congratulations to all of the Hall of Fame inductees. And as y'all go through the program that I'm going to have to slip out and not be a part of the entire program, just listen to what a star-studded class this is, these 2 classes of Hall of Famers. I mean, we've got World Series champions, Super Bowl champions, multiple national champions. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And all of you are so well-deserved. And I'm honored to be the coach here when every one of you go into this Hall of Fame. It's truly an honor. If you bow your heads with me. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for each person here and the families they represent. Lord, thank you for these 2 classes of Hall of Fame inductees, what they've meant to this university. Lord, I just thank you for leading their lives and directing them here to Livingston, Alabama. Lord, they've all made an impact, an extreme impact on this university, this community, and beyond, Lord. And we thank you for each one of them. We honor them in everything that we do. Lord, thank you for this food that we're about to eat. Lord, bless it. Bless it to the nourishment of our bodies. Thank you for the hands that prepared it. Lord, in everything that we do, we want to honor and glorify you. We would have nothing without the blessings you give us. And we thank you for that. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you guys here. These round tables to get started and go in one way or the other, and then you other guys go to the other side. Let's roll. Let's eat. So let's get started. UWA is the chairman, president of our Hall of Fame committee. He and I spend a lot of time on this every year, and he came to school here, what, in 25, and stayed. So athletic director emeritus, D. Outlaw, he's going to run our program. We are MC.
You love it.
Thank you, and good morning. Got a couple of quick announcements to make. I want to recognize our head baseball coach, Gary Rundles, Gulf South Conference Coach of the Decade. Over 1,000 college wins. Let's give him a big hand. When we call you up here, Kent will make the presentation to you, and he'd like to ask you to come over here and get your picture made. And one last announcement. They had a little golf tournament yesterday morning, and Robin LaCoste made the long putt to win it. And the first thing he said, "Did you see that, Dee? Did you see that?" So, congratulations, Robin and his team in that little golf tournament. All right, let's start with the inductees. Our first member could not be here today. His father passed away this week, and the funeral was today. Malcolm Butler, All-Conference, All-American, played in 3 Super Bowls, won 2, All-Pro, played in the Pro Bowl. I don't know what else I could say about him. 2 Super Bowl rings. Malcolm Butler, let's give him a big round of applause. Kyle Caldwell. And when I introduce you, until we get to the team, Coach Andrews is going to speak for all y'all, but you can come up here and say a couple of words. I met Kyle's daddy before I met him in Tuscaloosa. He said, my son's coming to quarterback, he's going to be the best you ever had. And I thought, okay, that's good. He may have been right. Kyle Caldwell, they chased him around this conference for years and they hardly ever caught him. Over 9,000 total yards. Started for 4 years, and he was just fantastic to watch. Kyle Caldwell.
I just want to say thank you everybody who gave me the opportunity to play here. Played with a lot of really, really good football players. Everybody always said I was good, but my teammates, man, they were really good, and they just made me better. But just thank you to everybody who made this possible. And everybody says there's something special about this place. There really is. And I always felt like this was family. So thank you.
Kent Partridge. Ken, you going to present that to yourself? Kent started out working for me in sports information, and he had a talent, and I knew he would go places. I didn't know he was going all over the country, though. He worked at Montevallo, Sanford, Auburn, Texas Tech, the NBA, and we finally got him back home. And we're glad to have him back home. He's my friend, Kent Partridge.
Thank you, Dee. Appreciate everybody else. I really don't know what to say. And that's from somebody who spent their whole career talking about other people and talking about pushing and pushing people to get awards and pushing people to do better and begging people to talk to me and Tanner. Not much problem over there, though. I remember some things about all these guys, and so I thought if you would indulge me, I would tell you a little bit about these other inductees. First I want to talk about, I've had 3 mentors in my professional life. This one right here started me, taught me how this business works. And then I worked for David Housel for 10 years at Auburn. The best I've ever seen at handling a crisis. And then I worked for Coach Wallace, who taught me how to treat people. And that we just might not be as important as we think we are. And this is from a guy who's won more national championships than anybody in the world. You know, so I just want to say thanks to you 3 guys. There's a reason I'm standing here. You think about Jana Fields, she get, how long has it been since you played Jana? 10 years, maybe. Anyway, when you played in the 90s and you're still on the records, that says something about how good your career is. And you can't go through a record book without her either still being in first or still being in the top 3 to 5. Some 20 years later after pitching here. Kyle, first met Kyle, he weighed 138 pounds, and I said, there ain't no way this guy can play. Then I saw him run, and look where we are, almost 10,000 yards later. One of the most fun guys I've ever watched play. Houston, just gotten to know you, but I do know this. And I don't know if I can believe it all, because most of it came from Stan Naruski, but, it ain't every day you get to meet a torchbearer and a man who basically invented track and field in our state. He's worked every meet since, boy, the early 60s. Yeah, since 68, and what an honor to have you in our class, so long overdue. Larry Lightfoot going in, I don't know, Lisa didn't make it, did she? Anybody see her? Okay. Ever since I got back 11 years ago, I've been hearing that Larry Lightfoot needed to go in this Hall of Fame. And ever since I got back here 11 years ago, I've been agreeing, and we finally got it done. And way past that. I learned a lot last night from listening to Coach Andrews, either how great Lightfoot was or how bad Clement's arm was. I don't know. My favorite story of all, Tanner Rainey. We're playing Delta State in the championship, GSC championship here in 2015. You guys don't know, Tanner owns the school record for home runs in the season. And we're playing Delta State, and he's already hit 2. And it looks like we're probably, we're rolling that way. Tanner comes to the plate again in the late innings. And Delta State's catcher stands up and looks over at Coach Mike Kennison in the Delta State dugout and does this. You guys know what that means. We're going to put him on. We're going to put him on, please. We're going to put him on, Coach. Coach Kennison, I looked, and so I'm doing the radio, so I'm looking for anything to talk about. So I follow over and train my eyes on Coach Kennison, and Coach Kennison goes. 2 pitches later, it took about 3 seconds to get out to the top of the hill in right field. He hit a record 3 home runs in the GSC championship game. And for all the years you have pitched and all the people you have blown by, my favorite memory of you is the 3 home run game. Because I think you called it earlier in the year that you were going to set the record for home runs anyway. Or at least that's what Lee Boyston said when I was talking to him the other day. So all you guys, congratulations. And I'm just honored to be just a small part of this class.
All right. Currently relief pitcher for the Washington Nationals, proud owner of a World Series championship ring. Tanner made All-American twice in the same year. That's not hard to do if you're All-American first baseman and All-American relief pitcher. He was that good. Tanner Rainey, come join us.
I typically don't like to speak, but didn't really think about having to do this. I have to thank this entire table here. My parents wouldn't be where I'm at now without them. My wife, my roommate while I was here for 2 years, Coach Rundles, I don't see where you're sitting. Got to give you a big thank you for the opportunity to play here for 2 years and continue my career. Wouldn't be where I'm at without you either. Livingston was special. Place I stayed for 2 years and loved every second of. Not much else I can say other than thank you all.
Did y'all see that ring? Wow. All right. The veteran high school track and field official, also member of the track team here. And he's officiated events all over Alabama. And I think it's the first time I've seen you without a stopwatch around your neck. Houston Young, we're proud of you. Come join us.
It goes without saying thanks to people that set us up to succeed in life. There are 4 people that have really been very strong in my life from University of West Alabama or Livingston University. Coach Jim Homer, he was a football coach here. For 2 years I was football manager and also baseball manager. He coached both sports. The next person was Jerry Smith. He came here and started a track program, called me into his office one day. He says, "I think you can run, can you?" I said, "Well, I can outrun the football team." That was a fact. He said, "Would you be interested in running track?" I said, "Sure. I need financial help to go to school." My mother could not afford to send me to school, and she told me if I wanted to continue, I had to find some way to go. And that was going to be my way to go. Dr. John Deloney was president of Livingston University at the time, and he was very encouraging to me. Occasionally, in the dark evenings, he would call me in his office, have a sit down with me and say, "Houston, how's it going?" "Coach, I'm doing real well." "No, I'm talking about your education, not talking about your athletic ability. I know how that is." "Well, Coach, well, Dr. Deloney, I'm just skimming by." "Well, son, keep working. You'll get it. Keep working." And the 4th person was here when I came, our Coach Jim Homer. Coach Jim Homer was akin to the Munstons family. He was a great guy, had a great personality. I don't think I've ever seen him or ever saw him, he didn't have a pipe in his hand. He was most encouraging to me. He knew me because I grew up in Cuba, and I had been up here to football games, and my parents knew Coach Homer. And those 4 people were very encouraging to me in my tenure here at University of West Alabama. I want to thank the college for the chance to go to school here, and particularly these 4 guys. Thank you very much for this honor. It's something that I've wished for a long, long time. Thank you.
Okay, that was the 2020 inductees that we didn't get to have because of the COVID. Now we move on to 2021. Jana Fields, you heard Kent, she set all the records and still owns a whole lot of them. She was an unbelievable pitcher. She threw what I call a heavy ball because when the batters tried to hit it, she just knocked the bat out of her hand. She threw so hard. Her senior year, we went to the NCAA Regionals in Miami, Florida. And Florida Southern was there. They beat us, they beat Jana 4 times that year, 1-0. They won a national championship that year. And she pitched 4 times and only gave up 1 run each game. That's how good she was. Jana, come join us.
First, I would like to congratulate all the inductees. It is really a great honor to be included in such a deserving group of athletes. I can't express my gratitude and thanks enough to the people who nominated me for this honor. It is such an incredible privilege and accomplishment I will always cherish with great pride. As someone who has never enjoyed being the center of attention, other than when I was on the mound, I'm truly honored. There is no possible way I could stand up here and thank everyone who has played a role in me being here, but I would like to take the time to recognize just a few. Today wouldn't be possible without all my teammates, coaches, and family. I've had the privilege of having some very talented teammates along the way. The memories we have shared, both on and off the field, I will always cherish. From 2 Gulf South Conference championships, a South Regional runner-up, from our van rides to practices and games, what a great 4 years. As an athlete, coaches make a pretty big part of our careers. Not only did my coaches teach me about softball, but they also taught me about life. lessons like teamwork, accountability, and punctuality. These lessons stay with you for life, even after our time in the sport is over. I would like to thank Coach Montgomery for seeing my potential and taking a chance on a girl from small town Indiana. Not sure what she saw in me, but I'm glad she saw something. The first time I met Coach was at a camp at University of Missouri, and she was my pitching instructor. I think at that camp, I was chasing the ball more than I threw it because I kept throwing it over the catcher's head. At the same time, she offered me a scholarship and said if I was interested in coming to school in Alabama to give her a call. Well, as you can see, I made that call and so happy I did. Over my career at UWA, I was lucky to have 4 great coaches in Coach Montgomery, Les Studeman, Van Studeman, and Christy Wade. My pitching coach, Van Studeman, spent countless hours and effort into making me a better pitcher. I came to West Alabama with only a fastball, and by the end of my senior year, I had developed a curveball, a drop ball, and a changeup that was faster than my fastball. Van always knew exactly what I needed when I needed it. For example, this one game I had given up several big hits, and she came out to the mound and stood beside me and yelled to the outfield, "If she's going to throw it down the middle of the plate, back up." As she walked off the field, I think I called her every name in the book in my head, but that's exactly what I needed to push me and motivate me. I ended up not giving up another hit that game. Another great memory came during my freshman year when we were playing at West Georgia. I was put in the lineup to hit, and this was my first collegiate at bat. Now, mind you, I was recruited as a pitcher and not a hitter, and not for my speed. But I could hit a pitch that was thrown down the middle of the plate. I hit the ball solid, but didn't know how hard I had to hit it. I ran through first base, and when I looked up at Les, who was coaching first, she was bent over laughing and started yelling at me to go to second. So I took off for second and stopped there, knowing I was not the most fleet-footed person. And all of a sudden, I looked up and saw Coach over at third, and she was waving me on. So I ran to third. And I didn't think I would go any further, so I stopped at third. And then I noticed that she was still waving me on, so I took off for home. So my first collegiate at-bat, I had the inside the park home run and stopped at every base. And I think Coach still has shoulder problems to this day. When my softball playing career was over, I began my coaching career. I realized how much of an impact each of my coaches had on me. Whether it was a drill, practice, or in a game, they always encouraged me to put everything I had in it. Those lessons that I passed along to my student athletes and I still carry with me today. I would also like to take a few moments to thank my family, my mom and my sister who are here today, and to my dad, who is not here but smiling down from heaven. No amount of words or thank yous would ever be enough to let you know how grateful I am to you. Thank you for being such incredible role models. Thank you for showing me what hard work and dedication is all about. I appreciate all the sacrifices, support, and love you have given me over the years. I would not be where I am today without you. Thanks for always believing in me and for always being my biggest fan. You rarely missed a game throughout my softball career. Not even distance would stop you from coming down pretty much every weekend to watch me play. If only technology was around when I played, you would have not missed a game. Thank you for everything you have done for me over the years. I am truly blessed to have parents like you and honored to be your daughter. To the University of West Alabama, the place I called home for 4 years, thank you. You will always have a special place in my heart, and it is truly an honor to have my name attached to it. Again, thank you.
All right. Larry Lightfoot. He was some kind of special. He's the only running back that wore number 80. But that isn't what made him special. He was an outstanding player, and I've had many of the members the 71 coaching staff and 71 players that told me we would not have won it without Larry Lightfoot. So he was outstanding for us. He got drafted by the New York Jets. And what a great player he is. And he is deceased. And his daughter Lisa is supposed to be here today. I don't think she's here. And Coach Jim King is going to come speak in honor of Larry Lightfoot. Be able to accept the award for Larry. He's just a great player, and as Dee said, we wouldn't have won it without him. I think he should have gotten Hall of Fame about the time Coach Andrews did. I'll tell you a short story. I went over to Hattiesburg this summer to a fish fry for Will Hall's the head coach over there, and he was here, and I wanted to go over and support him. And there was a lot of people there, and I ran into Aubrey Lucas. Aubrey Lucas was the president of Delta State University when we were here in 71 through 75, and I had to introduce him. I said I was the head coach over there, 73, and he didn't know who I was, which a lot of times that's good in my position. But, he said, I just got the president's job at Delta in 71, and I knew nothing about football, but I wanted to support Horace McCool, who was the head coach at Delta State at that time. He said, I was going to a meeting in Birmingham, and I stopped by and see the game, and he said, y'all had a running back over there. Every time he touched ball, he was up down the field, and I said, Larry Lightfoot. He said, yeah, that was him. So anyway, Larry was a great football player, and it's a real honor for him to be in the Hall of Fame. Like Herbie Malone said, as Dee said, without him, we wouldn't have won a national championship. So thank you. All right, Bobby Wallace. I don't know how many Hall of Fames he's in, but all of them, I think. He was outstanding at UNA, and he came here, and he helped us be outstanding here. And everywhere he goes, there's winners, because he is a winner. Bobby, we're so glad you're here, and congratulations, come join us.
Thank you, Dee. Appreciate the committee, everybody on the committee, for this great honor. When you receive an honor like this, it gives you an opportunity to thank people. And my opportunity started when I was young. My parents, I'm going to see them tomorrow. They're doing well. They live in assisted living in Jackson. Clement asked me to come take this job as a football coach. I just left Temple. 8 years of love living up there, love the people, but 8 years of losing can wear you out. And I was working for a guy, and I drove through here, coming by on the interstate, and I said, nobody knew I was coming. Nobody knew anything about it. And I drove in, I drove up there through the gate of the stadium. I got out, and the sun was setting. It was in March, maybe late February. And that saying that there's something special about this place is for real. Because just looking over the field, looking over the campus, I got a feeling that there was something special about this place. Now, I said that in the commercial, but I didn't make that up. Jim, another guy did, and he told me what to say, but then, you know, it's really true. So, you know, when I talk about my parents, when I talk about my family, which I'm fixing to, when I say support's the wrong word. Sacrifice is the right word. My parents had to take, I played football, and the day football was over, I played basketball, the day basketball was over, I played baseball and then ran track. Sometime I was 9 years old. And you figured how many times they had to sacrifice their time to do things for you, and then to be at every game, every match, every whatever. And so I got to thank them for it. Something special about this place, my dad loves fishing. He got to come here. The last time he got to fish was at Jim King's. Jim was nice enough to let us come out there and fish. We cleaned them, took them over to Mickey Smith and Lolita's, fried them, and you know, that's probably, he still talks about this place to this day. And that's my father, who I'm only here a handful of times. So it's really great that they were able to do that. I thank them. I thank my sister Julia, who, as I was growing up, supported every game. She was there, everything that I was involved in. Then I get to my wife, Sharon. We've been married. We have our 30th anniversary this spring. In 30 years, we've moved 18 times. 18 times. And she's never said a word. I've retired 4 times. The 3 times that I've come back from retirement, twice of them have been to come here. And that was great, but at the same time, you know, she grew up in Mobile. When I came here the first time, we were living in West Beach and Gus Shores. Yeah, you can imagine her face when I said, honey, we're leaving the beach and we're going to Livingston. And came here and then retired again, went back to North Alabama, retired again, and then came back, and this time we were living at Lake Martin. And so she's been supportive of everything that I've done. My kids, Robert and Bo, are over here. Robert, my grandson Bo, Lindsay, and Lauren and Drew and Blake, they're all here. When we went to Temple, Robert and Lindsay was in the middle of their junior year, going into their senior year. Blake ended up going to 3 different high schools. Robert and Lindsay stayed back in Florence to graduate, away from us for a year, and like I said, Blake went to 3 different, that's sacrifice. That's not support, that's sacrifice. And I love them for it, love them all for it. Going back to coming here as a coach, Clement was obviously very instrumental in me being here. I knew him through a friend that a lot of you might know, Gary Elliott. And I knew about him, and I trusted Gary's word and opinion on people. And it proved true. There's a lot of things you have to do to be successful, and a lot of people have to be a part of it. And administration was part of it then. Coaches, assistant coaches, all the players, very important. Mickey Smith, best faculty athletic rep in the country, because he cares about the coaches and the players, and he looked for ways that you can do it within NCAA rules instead of ways you can't. Now, I've been in a lot of places. That's very rare. Deion Williams got hurt, 4th game of the year, I believe it was, 3rd or 4th, whatever the rules were. It was very vague on the rule. We didn't think we were getting back for a 5th year. And Mickey studied it and researched it and found out that we could. And that's when we went to the playoff in 2009, and we would not have done it without Deion. So Mickey Smith was responsible for that. And so those are the kind of things that helped us kind of turn the tables here and become successful for a little while. Obviously, coaches followed me, Will and Brett, that have done a fantastic job, and I'm very proud of them. Then I retired, and now I'm coming back as an AD. I've never been an AD. I've coached for 40 years, and believe me, Coach King, Coach Andrews, you know how many times we've cussed the AD. And I found out, wow, maybe we were wrong, but I gotta thank so many people. Wouldn't have come here as AD if it wasn't for Dr. Tucker. And all these people I mentioned, they're great friends of mine now. And Dr. Tucker, we visited, he came to see me and visited and trusted him, and he gave me the chance for this experience. Of course, the board and Justin Smith, being a board member, they trusted me. Couldn't have done it without the cooperation of the coaches. Coach Rundle's been here a lot longer than I have, been in this business almost as long as I was, and he was so easy to work with. Brett, every coach. I shouldn't name out names, but every coach accepted me. Kent, Janet Montgomery, Christy Wade, Mike Jones, administration. They did all. They knew what to do. I didn't. Penny Dew, she knew everything I needed to do. Thank her. And she got me out of hot water a lot of times. And so, it was a great experience. Now getting to the facilities, which I'm very proud of. The stadium renovation mainly, proud of all of them, but that's the one I had the biggest part in. Couldn't have done it without the support from Justin and the board, Dr. Tucker. They supported it 100%, the whole President's Council, the Vice Presidents. I got to single out Lawson Edmonds, who's Vice President for Finance. Remember, I didn't know anything about being an AD. When I was a coach, I wanted everything. I wanted this and I wanted that. I didn't know it had a budget. And Lawson taught me about budgets and how to keep the coaches under it and how to still get things when we needed it, and taught me a lot. I had to credit him a lot for being able to get the budget under control here. And but going back to the facilities, the support of everybody on campus for wanting it done. Then you got to mention the donors. I mean, we were able to raise $1 million, which was what they told me to do. Then we would finance the rest, and it was easy. It's hard to say that, but it was easy to raise $1 million. Everybody I went to and talked to was eager to join it because they love this place. And we were able to get the money raised, and now you'll see the part of it's under construction. It'll be a while, it's been delayed a little bit, but it'll get here, and we'll be proud of it and give everybody something to be very proud of. If you hadn't seen it, please stop by the fence at the gate and look at the pictures of it. It's going to change a lot of things. It's going to give a lot of pride to the university, students, alumni, everybody. It's going to help recruiting, the success of the football team and soccer teams, and really all teams, because it's going to have an academic center in it, thanks to Andy Coates, which is going to benefit every student athlete at this university. Mike Jones will have an office in there, and so just really proud of that facility and look forward to seeing it done. But this is a great honor, one I was not expecting, and I really appreciate it, and I love my time here. Thank you very much.
All right, 50 years ago, amazing thing happened. The national championship anywhere is amazing. It was wonderful here. I happened to be a student here at that time. And it was just unbelievable, the feeling you guys left for this whole university. And for 50 years it's been that way. We never had inducted a team into the Hall of Fame, but we decided, man, this would be the time to do it. And you guys still look like you can play, and we're proud to have you. What we're going to do is Coach Andrews is going to come up here and talk and accept it for y'all, and then we're going to call out your names individually. if we leave anybody out, y'all make sure we know. We have medallions for everybody. And Coach Andrews, would you come forward?
Man, it's good to be back. It's hard to believe that this actually happened and be a part of it. I remember when I came here as an assistant coach under Coach Higginbotham. Sit down, Leo. The players would understand that more than most of them. Coach Higgs he was a tough man when he running. Wait a minute, Coach. The little deal that happened out there, Ronnie was fielding a punt. Coach Higgs called for him, and Ronnie says, "Wait a minute, Coach, I'll be right there." Well, Coach got to him about the time the ball did. And he wasn't in a very good mood. He didn't like to be held up like that. But anyway, it really is a great honor to be here, and I'm going to speak for Jim and our coaches and our team. It was really a miracle. I remember when I first met most of you guys, and we had a great time at Jim and Sandy's place last night. Thank you for putting that affair on for us. It's about as first class as anything we've had. I go to Sunday school at a church there in Tallahassee. And the dangest thing happened less than 2 weeks ago. Was written about this football team. And it's about the 3 stages that you reach in your life to do something significant. And the first stage was impossible. When we started, I guess it was in the spring of 70. No, maybe it was the fall of. Anyway, before that first season, the 70 season, we remember that about as well as we do the national championship year. I don't know if it's supposed to go off or a time bomb or what. But anyway, But anyway, it reminded me of this football team so much. It was just unreal. When we started, we weren't even thinking about a national championship. None of us. Well, we're just trying to win a ball game. And first year we went 4-5. We didn't even have a winning season. So when you look in terms of a national championship, it was impossible. There wasn't any way it could happen. But we worked. And we treated it like it was an opportunity to get there, although I don't believe any of us believed it at the time. And I'd been on 2 national championship teams at Alabama. But they had some great players. Some that were probably some of the best at their position in the history of the game. And I was really more of a participant than I was a contributor. I didn't start from the senior year. But we go into that season, and we were expecting to win it. And I look back on this team, we didn't even know what we had to do to get there. But we laid out kind of a foundation and a plan. And so we asked the players to work to that point. And like I said, we didn't even have a winning season in terms of numbers. That's what you go by. We go on and we have a little off-season program. Every time I remember it, it was pretty demanding. And one of the things I found out that Coach Bryant was that in order to win, you gotta learn to keep from losing. That's the most important thing. And it still holds true today. And so many of the things that we did here were things that we had done when I was in Tuscaloosa. You had to make a decision if the cost was worth the prize. And that's a difficult thing sometimes, you know. And at that time, Kirby, I don't think you had gotten there by then. Several of those guys, Lightfoot wasn't here. Anyway, we asked them to strain and reach a point that was almost impossible. And I guess most people would say it was. And then the second thing is, it becomes difficult. We found that out during the season. When we go out, I think we went to Southern Arkansas in that first game, we scored one touchdown. But prior to that, we had beaten a team over there around Anniston by 1 point. That was enough. So we scored one touchdown there. And I was coaching offense at the time. I knew about as much about offense as I did about defense, which wasn't a lot. But the defensive side allowed us to win because we didn't have to score one touchdown. So we were pretty good on defense. We had more talent, more ability over there, and old Buddy would find a way to get the best out of them. And then we go play Troy. We lose by 1 point. But we scored 3 touchdowns during that time. I believe that's right. 21-20, something like that. But we weren't creating enough offense to really give ourselves a chance to be successful at the level we wanted to. And we got to looking at our personnel. The one thing I've learned through the years is, as a coach, you need to adjust what you're going to do offensively and defensively according to your personnel. Don't let what you know as a coach, you try to dictate and make those guys be successful at what you're doing. We had a little quarterback. I don't believe he's here, is he? He's not here. He was always like that. He didn't have a whole lot to say, but he knew what to do when the ball was snapped. The Lord didn't bless Clement with a great arm. I'm talking about speed throwing the football. And we had a great receiver, but we couldn't get him the football. You know, like time Larry ran a 10, 15-yard route, he was out of range. So Jim King and Buddy and Mike and all, we all got together. We said, we got to do something to utilize Larry Lightfoot better. And I told him, I said, you know, I know Clement can throw the ball 5 yards. We can put Larry in the backfield and, let Clement pitch to him, and the rest of us kind of get out of his way. And, because Clement had all the other ingredients that you wanted as your quarterback. We had 2 or 3 old slow running backs anyway. Backside end would catch Robin and Robbie. Those guys before we get back to the line of scrimmage. So we said, we just put them up as running back and we'll let them pound the line of scrimmage. So they were tough and hard nosed. And we said we'll let the other back be a blocker. And we just tried to depend on Larry. And it worked. We had a bunch of little bitty linemen, and I mean that sincerely. Sam and Eddie and all those guys, Gilliland was, you know, we had moved him from fullback because he couldn't block for offensive line. But so it wasn't about talent. It was like, we had a few good players, Kent and Herbie, and, you know, but the main thing, and Bledsoe probably had more size on it than we had anywhere, but the thing that we found out is you can't measure desire on a scale. Because those guys learned how to play at a level, and we strained them. We asked them to strain. Now, we demanded that you strain. And they did. And they accomplished something during that time that it was almost impossible. Certainly it was difficult. And I remember going up we got on a plane to head to Steubenville, I forget where we flew, Pittsburgh. I think we flew to Pittsburgh and then drove down. We got an article or two up there and where the old coach was talking about those little skin leg boys from Alabama. And kind of downgraded us, to be blunt about it. And I think when we got back on that plane, and of course it snowed, and not many of the guys had been on a plane before. And I remember little Joe Cartwright, we said something to him about, he stood up, was walking around, stood back down, you get this plane out of balance, it's liable to fall. So he gets out and puts his shoe in the backer on the seal right there by the window. But the thing that we found out was that if you don't set a limit, there is no limit. And I guess that's the fancy way to saying what you got in your heart will surpass what you got in your head if you allow it to. And these guys did that. And as we go on through the year, through the season, I know we're kind of backtracking and moving around a little bit, but they did it because they were together. And they felt a bond. And I was telling somebody the other day, they get started on these text messages. And I don't know how I got on it, because I certainly can't work that phone enough to put it on there. But somebody put my number on it. And they'll get to talking sometime, they'll remind you, there's a little beat going off, you know, like a bunch of junior high school boys. And I tell you the truth, I was aggravated at first. And then I said, you idiot, you're taking something that's great and pushing it away. And that bond that they formed back then is as strong now as it ever was. Maybe even stronger. Because, you know, as time goes on, it always gets tougher than what it really was. In their minds, they went through the death march. And I agree, it was tough on them. But, you know, when you do something that average people don't do, it gives you a little lift. It affects the way you walk, how you talk, and really how you live. And I look at these guys now, they look old. Till I look in the mirror. I just turned 80 last Friday. And I can remember telling people, you know, I always thought 80 was ancient until I got there. And now I know it is. But on behalf of this, and then that third stage was, it's done. It was impossible, it became difficult, and it's done. And that's exactly what we talked about in that Sunday school class. So that kind of prepped me up a little bit to coming. I used to say that I'm the luckiest guy in the world. But Diane wouldn't let that be. She said that's a blessing. Somewhere along there's got to be a little luck. And I think these guys kind of wrapped this foot. Thank you for letting us be a part of it. And I would like for each guy to get up here and talk, but some of them are a lot more long-winded than I am. We got a ball game to go play. And we told those guys, we gave them a little challenge yesterday. They're at a point right now they can do something that we didn't do. We weren't 0-6 in the middle of the year. 50 years is a long time not having another championship. So, to the staff and the players, that's our challenge for today and the rest of the year and the rest of their life. Thank you.
Make two quick remarks before we get started. Coach, they created a lot of that luck. And the other is, you mentioned how close they were. They were, and they still are close. I've been around them for 50 years, and they're an extremely close football team, as close as any team we've ever had in any sport, and we're proud of it. All right. Nikki. All right, our first one gives the medallion is Coach Andrews. And I'm going to call out what we have on the list, and I hope we haven't missed anybody. We may have some people not here, but we'll just go through the list, okay? Johnny Benavides. He's not here. Jim Berryman. Eddie Blake. Barry Bledsoe. Randy Boggs. Christy Bryan accepting for her husband, deceased husband, David Bryant. All right, Ken has asked for all 71 team that has not received their medallion to please just come forward and just make it a little bit quicker. Y'all just come gather right up here. If you've already received your medallion, you can stay seated. We'll call you out. All right, Tommy Cartwright. Tommy here. Accepting for Tommy will be his son, Bo Cartwright. Bob Clark. Andy Coates. Nan Cox, widow of Danny Cox. Let's not be here. Jimmy Duncan. Burnell Ellison. Assistant coach Bobby Fairley.
You're fine.
Mike Garrett. Wait, Mike. Okay. Leo Garza. Ronnie Gilman. Ronnie Gunner. Mike Green. Kenneth Hand. Jerry Hogan. Tony Holmes. Robin Lacoste. Paul Lombardo. Robbie James. Assistant coach Jim King. Reggie Kirkman, and I understand Reggie had to go to the hospital last night, and the report I heard this morning, he was doing okay. Has anybody had any other reports?
His wife's here, Pam.
He's at Rush Hospital and he's doing good. Larry Massey. Ace Massey, widow of Ronnie Massey. Sam McCorkle. Carol McGill, widow of Steve McGill. Herb Malone. Frank Parsons. Jerry Pitts. Don Shepard. Ronnie Slavinsky. Jimmy Smedley. Clement Spruill. Nell Strickland. James Ray Sullivan. Jerry Vincent. Assistant coach Brad Walden. Joe Nettles' name was accidentally left off the list, so we'll do him next. Joe Nettles. Leo Wright. Come on, Leo. Leo wants to say something.
I always want to say something. Never seen a microphone I didn't like. Clement, where's Clement? Poor Clement's been just battered. And I was privileged to be in the huddle with Clement when he stepped in there, made a few words, but he was respected by all of us, never made a bad read, threw on target, and I just want to say I'm proud of him to be your teammate and all my teammates. Thank you.
Assistant coach Dan Young.
Speech, Dan, speech.
Hold on. I get more notes. All right, we had 2 cheerleaders that were here in 71, Mickey Smith and Bessie Malone. Y'all can stand, please. Mickey, come on up. We got a medallion for you. Let me call the ambulance first. All right. Come on.
One more cheerleader.
One more cheerleader?
June's here. June Seals. June is already in our Hall of Fame for an outstanding coaching career she's had. All right. I'd like all the wives for these 71 players to stand up, please. How come y'all got prettier and your husbands, well, not so much? All right, I'm turning the program back over to Kent, and thank you all.
Quick housekeeping things. Remember, the game starts at 1. We'll do on-field recognition at 12:30, give or take, whenever the 2 teams clear the field. I would like to ask you guys, if you would, to meet me and Kristy's gone. Actually, she does all the work in this department anyway. So she's already gone working on that stuff. And at 12:15, meet us under the short scoreboard. Once you get down there, if you haven't seen, you'll know the difference between the big one and the short one. Down on the field house end. And I got to tell you, I feel really bad. We're talking about wives, and I've been to so many banquets where Coach Ronalds forgot to introduce John. It just somehow got in me. My daughter Courtney's here, and she grew up not seeing her dad very much sometimes. But I tried to never miss a recital. But we're on the road, particularly working in the NBA. It's a 24/7 job, and you could be anywhere in the country or even China. But Teresa, Coach Wallace talked about moving 18 times. We have exactly moved 18 times ourselves as well. The last one, hopefully the last time. We're back in Cuba, and where she grew up, so I can't do it without them. Y'all, if you will give me and little Charlie, you already met her. Thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate it. It's been so much fun for me just to sit back and watch. So let's go beat Valdosta. This is the biggest game we've had. 2 top 10 teams. Maybe the first time in the stadium, the first time in 8 or 9 years. So, good afternoon. Thank you.